11. What we do here is we also have to factorize. So we are again going through our rules of factorization. The first one says x squared minus 1 over x squared minus x. I cannot cancel these x's. You can only cancel if it's multiplication. So we have to factorize to be able to cancel now here. If I factorize here, now remember, we had the 4 steps. The highest common factor, the difference between squares, we had trinomials, and we had grouping. So we are still working with that factorization. You are still dealing with that factorization. Okay, so if I factorize now here, this is the difference between squares, which means that this one is then going to be x minus 1, x plus 1, the difference between squares. And this one is the highest common factor. What is common here is x. Then if I divide with x, it is x minus 1. The nice part now is when you cancel, and the answer is then x plus 1 over x. Number B. 8b to the power of 3 plus 12b squared q over 4b squared minus 9q squared. I must factorize. And the question is, what am I going to do here? So this one is the highest common factor, and what is common here is a 4p squared. That is your highest common factor there. If we divide now, then it will be 2p, and there it will be plus 3q over, this is the difference between squares that I'm going to take here. This is all square numbers. So it will be 2p minus 3q multiply with 2p plus 3q, the difference between squares. So to be able to do the sums now, we must still be able to factorize. Now this 2 can cancel out, and the answer is then 4p squared over 2p minus 3q. Question C. B squared minus 5b over b squared minus 3b minus 10. I need to factorize. What is it? The top one is highest common factor. Remember, we always look for that. So it is then b minus 5. If we factorize here, this is a trinomial. Do you recognize it? So the question is still what times what gives me this first term? So it is b and b. And then which factors of 10 will give me a 3 when I subtract it? Remember, the factors of 10, which is 5 by 2, and that will work. So it is a 5 and a 2. Signs differ. The biggest combination, which is this one, is negative, and that one is positive. And now we can cancel. This will cancel out. So b over b plus 2. Number D. C squared minus 7c over c squared minus 49. Factorize. The top one is the highest common factor, which will then be c minus 7. And this is the difference between squares again. So it will be c minus 7 times c plus 7. Now we can cancel. This 2 will cancel out, so your answer is c over c plus 7. Number E. 4m squared plus 6mb over 9b squared minus 4m squared. Factorize. The top one will be the highest common factor, so I can take out 2m, divide, then there remains 2m plus 3b. What is this? Two numbers, so it's the difference between squares. Everything is square numbers here, so I get the square root, minus 4m, 3b plus 4m. Factorize. And, sorry, I made a mistake here. This is minus 2m and plus 2m plus 2m, because I have to get the square root there. Now this will cancel out, and my answer is 2m over 3b minus 2m. Question F. 6a squared minus ab minus 15b squared. This looks like a trinomial. And then 27a3 minus 75ab squared. So the top one is a trinomial, which we need to factorize. Now these ones were the tough cookies. So look again. I take the factors of 6, which is 2 by 3, and the factors of 15, which is 3 by 5. If I cross multiply them and subtract them, it must give me 1. So this is 9, and this is 10. And if I subtract it, I will get a 1. So that is the combination that I'm going to use. So it's 2a times 3a. I want to combine the 2 with a 5, the 2 with a 5, the 3 with a 3. Signs differ. The biggest combination is negative. This is your biggest combination, the 10. So this one is negative, and this one is positive. And then here, this is highest common factor again. I can take out, no. What will divide into 27 and into 75? So I can take out there 3a squared. Then it would be 9a. And this one is minus 3 divides into that one. (25) times b. And oh no, I can only take out the 3a. So that will make it then a squared here and b and ab there on that side. So this is one is b squared. Okay. This one can actually factorize further because this is the difference between squares. So I also have here 3a minus 5b, and then 3a plus 5b. So I can even factorize this one further. And there should be a b. And here should be a b. Sorry, I missed that out. So now we can cancel, and this 2 will cancel out. So the final answer is 2a plus 3b over 3a and then 3a plus 5b. So we have to keep on factorizing. You have to factorize further. Now try now 25. Now this time we're dealing here with grouping 2ab minus 6aq plus bp minus 3bq, and we are dividing this with 10ab plus aq plus 5bp plus 4bq. Now, this is the fourth method, grouping. There's 4 terms, so I'm going to group them together. And the same thing here. If I group them together there, I can take out a 2a, and then there remains p minus 3q. If I group here, then I can take out the b, and then there remains p minus 3q. Here, if I group this 2, then I can take out 2a, and then there remains 5p plus 4q. And here, I can take out b plus b, and then there remains 5p plus 4q. Now, I still cannot just cancel. I'm busy with grouping, so I have a double HCF. So I can take out the p minus 3q, and then there remains 2a plus b. Same thing here. I can take out, this is common there, so it's 5p plus 4q, and then in the second bracket, it's 2a plus b. Grouping. That is grouping. And now we can cancel out. This will cancel out. So your answer is p minus 3q over 5p plus 4q. Question B. Still grouping that we're dealing with here. X squared minus xz plus xy minus yz, 4 terms. This is going to be grouping, and then here you have 2xy plus xz minus 2yz minus z squared, and I'm going to group them. 4 terms, grouping. There's nothing common, so I group them together, and I find an HCF. So what is common here is x, and then it is x minus z. Here, it will be plus y, and then there remains x minus z, grouping. Right, if we look at this one, I can take out the common one of x, then I have 2y plus z, and then here I can take out minus z. Now check for the signs, and then you have 2y plus z. Double check. If we multiply in there, we have negative 2yz. There we have negative z squared. Grouping is a double HCF, so I can take out that one there. That is common, x minus z, and then there remains x plus y. For this one, I can take out the common one there. So it is 2y plus z, and the second one is then x minus z, those 2, because you divide there. And now we can cancel, and this is what will cancel, and the answer is x plus y over 2y plus z, 2y plus z. Now, the next one is exercise 26. And we are still multiplying now here with our fractions. This is all multiplication. Now, this one looks like this, 3a over 8b times 2 over 7ab. Now, still, we're looking for cancelling. We're trying to cancel. So the 2 can divide into the 8 4 times. This a and this a can cancel out. So then you have 3 over 28. I multiply the numbers and I add my indices. Number B, 2p squared q over 7m squared n squared, and I have to multiply that with 3nq over negative 8b squared. So we're looking for first numbers to cancel out. Now here the 2 can divide into the 8 4 times. This b squared and this b squared will cancel out. 1n and 1n will cancel out here, so there remains 1. I write it where I have the biggest one. So now I've got a 3 at the top, and I add my indices, q squared. Here I have a 7 at the bottom, and I still have m squared. M squared. The next one, number C, 3a squared. Oh yeah, and there's still that negative. We shouldn't ignore that negative. Over 15b to the power of 3, multiply with 35 bc squared over 12ac. And the question is, what can cancel out? So I know that 3 can divide into 12 4 times. I first work with my numbers. 5 divides into this one 3 times and into this one 7 times. So I can write down my numbers. It will be 7 over 12. Now the indices. A2 minus A1 is A to the power of 1. If there's nothing, there's a 1. B4 minus B3 is B to the power of 1. And C2 minus C1 is C. You don't need to write those ones, but that is then the answer for this one. And now we're looking at the last one today, trying out 27. First do the exercises, then you mark them. So this one is now 4a squared plus 12a over 8 times 4 over a plus 3. So we need to find out what we can cancel. Now remember, this is addition, so I cannot just cancel out here. I'll first have to factorize there again, as we've been doing all the time. So I'm taking out the highest common factor of 4a, and then there remain a plus 3 over 8 times 4 over a plus 3. Now I have multiplication. Now everything is multiplication. So the 4 divides into the 8 twice. The 2 divides into the 4 twice. So the number that I have is a 2. This a plus 3, that whole bracket is cancelled with a whole bracket there. So this one's answer is 2a. 2a. Number B. X squared minus 1 over 3x plus 6 times x squared plus 2x over x minus 1. I need to factorize first. This is what we've been doing now all the time. We factorize. This is the difference between squares, which means it is x minus 1, x plus 1. This is the highest common factor, so I can take out 3, and then there remains x plus 2. Now we multiply here. This is again the highest common factor, x plus 2 over x minus 1. Everything is now multiplication, so now we can cancel. Right, what will cancel? This one and this one. What I do at the bottom, I must do at the top. This one and this one will cancel out, so it is x plus 1 over 3. Over 3. Number C. X squared plus 3x over x squared plus 5x plus 6. Here we've got a trinomial. Multiply. There's another trinomial. x squared plus 3x plus 2 and 2x squared plus 4x. I need to factorize each one. I have to factorize each one here. Right, so let's take this one. This is the highest common factor, so it's x plus 3. Let's take this one. This is a trinomial. Factorize means brackets, brackets. Can you remember? Which factors of 6 will give me 5? It will be a 2 and a 3. Signs are equal. Both will be positive. Right. Now I times it with this one. This is again a trinomial. Factorize means brackets, brackets. What is the factors of 2? It could only be 2 and 1. Signs are equal. Both will be positive. And here, again, the highest common factor of 2x, and then there remains x plus 2. Everything is now multiplication, so now is the time to cancel. What can cancel? This one and this one, this one and this one, and that's then my answer. Oh, this x and x can cancel, so it will be x plus 1 over 2x plus 2. There's my final answer for that one. And number D, 2x squared minus 8x over x squared minus 6x plus 8 multiply with x squared minus 4. Here it's the difference between squares, and then x squared minus 2x. So I need to factorize each one. I need to factorize each one. Look at this one. Highest common factor, 2x. So then there remain x minus 4 over. This is a trinomial. So brackets, brackets. Which factors of 8 will give you a 6? And that is 4 and 2. This should be easy now for you by now. Signs are equal, but both will be negative now. Multiply. This is the difference between square numbers. So it's x minus 2, x plus 2. Here I'm taking out the highest common factor of x, and then there remains x minus 2. Now we can cancel. That's always the nice part. This one and this one. This one and this one. This one and this one. So there remains 2x plus 2. And here we have x minus 2. Right, thank you, grade 10s. Make sure that you understand this. This is then a revision of factorization with fractions now here.
There's no price like the ShopRite price, which means you'll get low prices on everything you need. Like 750 grams Ricoffee Instant Coffee, only $79.99. And 750 grams of Ellis Brown Creamer, just $34.99. The ShopRite price, the price you can trust, always.
Good morning, grade 10s. We have our second lesson on factorization and fractions. And today we're looking specifically when we divide. Now you will remember if you have a fraction like this and we say divide by 1/4, then we multiply it with a reciprocal. You multiply with a reciprocal. And we're going to do exactly the same now here. So try now 28, the first one there. It says A over 5B, and because I divide, I multiply with a reciprocal. So I already did step 1 now here, 3A squared. From there, it's exactly the same as we've been doing before. What can divide? 5 can divide into 10 twice. So the number is then a 2. And this 3 remains there. You subtract your indices. The biggest A is at the bottom. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Then here's the B. 2 minus 1 is B. And then the D will remain there. Right? Number B. 7p squared x over 3py. And because I divide, I multiply with a reciprocal. I immediately turn this one around now there. Right, so what can cancel? 7 divide into 14 twice. So it means the numbers is 6, 1 over 6. Now the indices. Now I've got here P2, P3, which is P to the power of 5, minus the 1 here, is P to the power of 4. The x and the x will cancel out, that's 0. And the y's we have to add here, so it will be y squared. Y squared. The next one, number C. 3mn over 10p squared q. I immediately do that first step to multiply with a reciprocal, and that is then 9n. So now we have to look what can cancel out. 3 divides into 9 3 times. 5 divides into 10 2 times. So it means my numbers is again 1 over 6. Now I must take the letters. There's no m, so that m will remain. This n minus this one is 0. The r will remain there. And the p squared q will remain as the denominator. So that's then a very basic one on dividing. Now we look at try now 29. Now first do the exercise and then you can mark it. And here factorization is still vitally important. I can only cancel if I factorize. Now the one that we need to factorize here is this one. Can you see? So this one is then, so I have x over x plus 2 times, and I factorize here now, in its x plus 2 over 4. I have to factorize first before I can do anything. Now we can try to cancel, and this whole bracket and that one will cancel out. So the answer is x squared, I add my indices, over 4. Number B, we need to factorize. So it will here be 2b